Pondiba, Pondi Block, Pondi Piba, Pondi Run. Hey, what's up, y'all? 180 to 180 running here, y'all. I don't know if I'm gonna do intros like that. What's up, y'all? It's Dan. It's not called 360 running, it's called 180. So we're turning the other direction and we're going. This week I had a couple things I wanted to talk about. The first thing is let's just get into the week. Let's get into the weekly roundup and we'll break this down. But before that, actually, I just want to say thank you. This is kind of my first video that I've put out, and we reached over 100 views, man. 100 views. I know a lot of those people are Supwell people, but it's awesome. You know, if you're coming along for the journey, whether you found me on YouTube, whether you found me on the Supwell app, I'm just glad you're here. And we're gonna do this. We're gonna get through this. This is wrapping up week 6 of the Coast Guard half marathon. You know, tomorrow I still have a long run, and we'll get to that. I don't think I'm gonna do what I did last week where I recorded afterwards, but if I do, I'll just add it at the end, and we're not gonna do any cool transition, because honestly, after my long run last week, I was tired. The one benefit of recording it the day afterward is that the AC duct that is right above the camera wasn't blaring for the for the second half, so you could hear me better. But the downside is that I was tuckered. I didn't really get my thoughts out properly about the shoe, and that's okay. I'll try and talk about what I'm gonna be doing now, and we'll reach that when we get there. But let me just summarize week 6 of training to Coast Guard half marathon. I think we're gonna do it the other way around. I'm gonna do a countdown, so it'll be like how many weeks left? 6, 7? I'm trying to do hobby jogger math. It's just basic addition and subtraction. So there are 7 weeks left to the Coast Guard marathon, half marathon. So your boys got 7 weeks left. Let's see what I can do. This week was incredible. Coming off of that long run on Saturday, I was feeling strong, but I was also feeling tired. Pushing a whole 12:33 pace for 10 miles, though I could do it, though I felt like I could go faster, that taxed my body. I think Sunday it rained like the whole day. I just kind of chilled out, relaxed, and just enjoyed the time that I had. However, on Monday, I did the pyramid workout I had talked about last week, and that was a killer workout. I remember the splits because I skipped my run in the morning because I was so afraid. I was so afraid. I woke up at 5 a.m. The alarm went off and I was like, we're doing this later. I'm doing it at the end of the day. I'm not doing it in the morning. I'm so nervous about this workout. So the workout was, I think, 0.12 at 9:45 pace, and then 0.25 at 10 minutes per mile, and then it was 0.5 at 10:45, and then it was 0.7 at 11, and then it's a pyramid, so you just kind of work that down from there on the other side. And I did that run in maybe my race shoe. Can we talk about that? This is not my race shoe yet. I'm gonna keep saying that until like probably the day of the half marathon, because I can't decide whether I want to run in this or this, because the Li-ning Fadian Ultra 5 is so good. The reason why I have both of these shoes up is because it's like the evolution. This shoe came out about 2 years ago. I only got it about 2 months ago, maybe a month ago, and I loved it at first sight. It was instantly just a banger to me. It worked with me. There was no issues, nothing weird about this shoe. Even kind of stable. You know, it's a firmer foam. It's Piba, and I love Piba. I talk about Piba all the time because Piba is still my favorite foam, and this is like the pinnacle of why I love Piba. It just works. It rebounds. I'm not a big fan of like a pingy ride. It could be because I'm slower. Because I'm slower, I probably enjoy bounce rather than snap. I think that's a good way to describe it. I love a bouncy ride. With all my weight, I can use and leverage bounce to go fast. And so I'm able to go really fast in this. I did my 10K time trial in this. I know I was talking about doing a 10K time trial the same speed that I did in the RX Fippy on Saturday, but this is the shoe I did that in, and even doing that, I finished super strong. I felt like I could have gone way faster. I don't know how to really pace a race yet. I'm still working on that, and that's going to be a big issue at half marathon day, just because I'm not super sure how much pain I should be in. Like, I know I'm supposed to be in pain, but how much pain should I be in for how long? And I think that's something you only really get from experience. So I'm gonna have to experience that. But now that I am starting to do these really hard workouts, I'm starting to get used to what kind of pain I should be looking for. Speaking of pain, back to Monday's workout. In this, it was pain, but not pain. I'm not really selling this well, but I promise you, this is just incredible. As I did with the RX Fippy on Saturday, let me just explain the one downside, because so far, I haven't found my perfect shoe. This is the closest I've gotten, and it still might not be my race shoe. This, just with the plate geometry, it has a forked plate, so I don't know if you could see, but basically, it goes down here, and you see that black? It's kind of spray painted, but it lifts up here, but there's also a plate that's still going down here. So it's basically sandwiched all through. It's basically sandwiched all throughout with carbon. And because of that, no matter where you land, you're getting rebound, you're getting sharp propulsion. I would say this is a sharp shoe. It's the most efficient that I've ever run. I ran at a 106 efficiency score on Chorus, and the highest I've ever gotten is like maybe 104. On like a really good day, I've hit a 104. My heart rate was 157 average during that entire thing. And when I was on my cool down, I was running 13-minute miles at a breeze. Like, to me, it was cool down pace, but I was going 13-minute miles. It's just unbelievably efficient. I'm pretty sure I said on Supwell and on Strava that for me, this is the closest I'm going to get to running in the Fast R3. The way everybody describes the Fast R3 is this efficient, clean, powerful ride. I would say that that's how I felt in this, and at my weight, this is probably the closest I'm gonna get to something like the Fast R3. Even once I lose like 10, 15, 50 plus pounds, I still probably won't get a Fast R3 because it's not for me. But I do firmly believe that carbon can be used by heavy runners. That's one of the things I mainly wanted to touch on, is carbon for the heavy runner. I know my friend Frank did a video. I think his YouTube channel is called Veteran Runner. I don't know the exact name, so don't get mad at me if you see this, I'm sorry. But he talked about how heavy runners can and should use carbon, and I fully agree. I think you have to be smart about how you use carbon. I think even if you're a much fitter person, you shouldn't run in carbon 5 days a week. You shouldn't run in carbon 3 days a week unless you're doing 3 workouts and you're like an elite. I would say maximum probably 2 runs a week for carbon. If you're running 3 times a week, again, I wouldn't say, well, you should do 2 out of 3 of your runs in carbon. I think it's it goes in separate places. Speaking on that same fact, Frank asked a question on Supwell about the favorite daily trainers, and I kind of went on a rant about daily trainers. Because to me, I think once you start training seriously, there's less of a need for a daily trainer. I saw somebody say that actually if you're running more, you need a daily trainer more. No, I think daily trainers are great for starting out. I think daily trainers are great if you're not running too frequently, like 2 to 3 times a week. I think a daily trainer is just something that you want to run, you want to get used to running, you want to learn how to run. Daily trainers are good for that purpose. And some even pros use daily trainers in their rotations, but keep in mind, a lot of those people are running twice a day. So I think once you start getting into doubling on a day, then daily trainers kind of make their way back into relevancy. But I think for like a hobby jogger, an amateur athlete who takes their running seriously, daily trainers have kind of lost their purpose these days. Sorry, I gotta keep this in to keep your mind activated. Daily trainers have kind of lost their purpose. And I say that because Max cushion shoes have kind of replaced the idea of daily trainers. I think Max cushion shoes are fantastic for easy running. I think one of the biggest problems with a lot of people, is that they're not periodizing their training. So their easy days, they're still running it like it's a steady or a tempo run. And I've gotten so many gains. I think one of the biggest things, besides just losing weight, besides upping mileage, besides getting a fancy shoe like this, that I actually got for a really good deal. It was like $200. So normally this goes for like 300 and something, but for a race shoe, you can get them on Amazon, I think, with a coupon for $200. So the biggest thing besides all of that and all of those additions is that I added in so much easy running, and not every day. I didn't do every run as an easy run. As I was building up my mileage to 40 miles a week, yes, my standard is kind of around 40 miles per week. I dropped it just a little bit during this training block just to focus on hitting these hard workouts, because the workouts are what's been building the fitness. But as I was building up to 40 miles per week, easy miles are the things that made it completely possible. I don't think I could have gotten to 40 miles per week if I was running every single run at 13-minute miles, which used to be my fastest pace. So my fastest pace used to be 13-minute. If I ran a 13:40, I was super excited. One of my 10-mile runs was a 13-minute. Like 13:40 or 13:50 per mile run, and I was so excited because I had finally broken through 14. One of the coolest things about this journey and like losing weight is like every time you break that next number barrier, it just feels so different, especially last Saturday when I broke that barrier on a long run again into the 12s. So I'm making progress at an astounding rate, and there's two things contributing to that. Actually, there's three things contributing to that. One of it is I built my base before I started this half marathon training block. Two, this half marathon training block has a lot of fast workouts. Three, I take my easy days as easy as I possibly can. And I know that was a lot of rambling, but it's an important thing to think about, especially as a bigger runner. Don't be afraid to run in carbon, but do be smart about it. Take your time. Spend as much time as you need to in a daily trainer, in a max cushion shoe. Just spend time in the shoes that you feel okay with. And while you're building up mileage, slowly building up mileage, holding at like every 10 miles, holding at that for 3, 4, 5 weeks, and just keep building it up until you reach kind of your maximum. For me, my maximum was about 40 miles per week because I can't run any faster to fit in that much volume during the week. That was about 9 hours a week. And then I dropped the mileage about 5 to 10 miles at a mileage rate that I know I can easily sustain. And in the lower mileage section, that's when I started working in a bunch of speed work. Threshold, Norwegian singles, a lot of the Runna things as well. But even before Runna, I started working in these workouts. And I keep harping about easy days because easy days are so pivotal. And speaking of which, let's move on to Tuesday, actually, Monday, I don't remember how long it was. I think it was 4.5 miles. Tuesday, I think it was also 4.5 miles. I did a 15-minute pace in that. And I did that run in the Vomero Premium. Talk about an easy run shoe. If you want something that's gonna force you to go easy but still be fun, this is the shoe. However, I've heard really good things about the Red Hare Ultra 9. The way people are describing it is exactly the reason why I love the Vomero Premium. They're saying that it's as fun to go slow in that shoe as it is to go fast in a carbon shoe. So like a shoe like this. If you want a cheaper version of that, I would say check out Amazon. Red Hare 9 Ultra. It's about $150 and it's a banger. But I've had this for about 2 to 3 months, maybe 4 at this point, because I got it soon after the Aeroburst, and I've put 150 miles on this. But I busted it out again on Tuesday, did a 15-minute mile run on the treadmill, and the downside about the treadmill is that though it's an easy run, I'm not really getting the easy run benefits of running on a treadmill, because my heart rate was at like 151. It's stuffy in there. I feel like my RPE is even higher because I'm running on a treadmill. Running on a treadmill stinks. I said this last week and I stick by it. Honestly, I would rather run outside in the rain than be on a treadmill. And I might have to do that tomorrow because I think it's raining during my long run. But I think it's going to be a light rain. I would rather do that any day. I'd rather run in the cold. The only thing I won't run outside in is the snow. So yeah, 15-minute mile pace, and then these bad boys, 4.5 miles. It was a great run. This shoe feels like it was made for the treadmill. I don't understand how. I put 130 miles on this before I ever ran on it on a treadmill. And I loved it, I enjoyed it. I put 130 miles on it. Obviously, I like the shoe. But on the treadmill, there's just like a certain difference. I think it could be because of the belt. I feel like you're not working as hard to propel yourself, because this thing will bounce you vertically, but it's not really a bounce forward kind of shoe. No matter how you use it, this is an outstanding recovery run shoe, easy run shoe. On the treadmill, I was kind of tweaking. I said that this is a super trainer on the treadmill because it kind of does feel like a super trainer on the treadmill, but it's still pretty heavy. 365 grams in my size 10.5 men's. So still pretty heavy. And then on Wednesday, we had an attempted redemption run. I call it attempted and I call it redemption because my boy, the RX 50, was back on the table. I kind of sandbagged it. I took it out for a workout with the plate in it because I really thought I could fix the plate, but I couldn't. It was a pretty tough run. I think 6.5 miles over unders. So it was like 4 miles of work, and you need something reliable for 4 miles of continuous work on a run for me. So like normally 2 miles of work is how much I'm doing in a workout. So this is like double the length. The hotspot creeped back up and I had to abandon. I toughed it out because I needed to keep the heart rate up on these over-unders because it was like a tempo, so it's supposed to keep going. So I toughed it out. I readjusted the BOA dial system. I did the socks, but I had to take it out for the final mile. I never said the paces. So the paces for the working sections, it was 12-minute miles and then 11-minute miles, and then 12-minute miles and then 11-minute miles for 1 mile. Each of those is 1 mile. So by the last 12, I had finished and I was just about to get into the last 11, and that's when I took them out. And I noticed a drop in speed almost instantly. The drop in speed was better than the pain in my left foot. So I took them out, put them in my pocket, and just kind of chugged through the last mile. I didn't hit the splits, and that's because I forgot to mention, on Tuesday, I did a leg lift after my easy run because I was at the gym, and I'm trying to get use out of this Planet Fitness membership because I'm not trying to pay $100 to cancel this thing. So on Tuesday, I did a leg workout after the easy run, and so I was still kind of cooked on Wednesday. That might have affected me hitting the perfect paces for my workout, but the pain in the shoe, there's nothing I could do about that. So my fastest split was still the last split. So the shoe is still really good without the plate, but I think for now on, it's gonna be relegated to easy runs as well as just mileage building, maybe a steady run, and maybe a long run. At this point, I have a lot of other shoes I'd rather take out on long runs. So we'll see. It's still a good shoe. I got it for a really good deal. I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna get miles on it. And then Thursday, I sold my Super Blast 2, I sold my Aero Glide 3. Sorry, last time you'll ever see that shoe. And I also sold a Nimbus 27 I had because I got an extra one during Black Friday, and then realized that my original pair can probably last like 150 miles plus. And in fact, with that shoe, I think after 20 miles, the Nimbus 27 becomes the perfect max cushion daily shoe. After like 20 miles, once your foot kind of conforms the foam, once it like compresses a little bit, because it's kind of soft at first, and I was having like arch problems on the new pair, just because it's a new pair. And that's the same reason I didn't like this pair at the start. And I say this pair because this is what I ran in on Friday, this morning, for my 6.5 mile easy run. Bang, 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 banger, dude. Just as much as I loved my workout in this shoe, which I don't think I even did a full breakdown because I was kind of yapping a lot. I don't know if I already said this, so if I did, I might just cut this part out, or I'll say it again. This shoe with the plate structure, it is so good. It's like a mixture between the On Cloud Boom Strike and the Glycerin Max. It's somehow very stable, feels pretty soft in the foam, even though it's firm. It's firm to start out with, but if you weigh a bit much like me, then it gets pretty soft, and it's super comfortable. And the only issue is that it's kind of narrow. I don't know if you could see, but it's pretty narrow. I kind of went over some of this already. Just showing it again, I will warn you, it's narrow. I think you can go half a size up in this thing and still have a good time, because it's really snug on the fit. But anyway, back on this morning's run in the Nimbus 27, my GOAT. And I know I called the RX 50 the GOAT. It was the GOAT that fell off, all right? It was the GOAT that I can't run in. If the plate could work, that would be my favorite shoe, but the plate can't work, so this is the GOAT. I've had this since I started running. This is the first shoe that I bought on Supwell, and I'm still running in it today. So that's a testament in itself. I've probably traded and sold and shelved and moved on and come back and gone this way and the other with so many shoes, but this is the only shoe that's still in my rotation for a year, and I've somehow only put 50 miles in it, but I love every single run I do in this. I think 60 miles. If I wasn't so distracted buying and selling and trying and selling and buying and not selling and keeping in a case, the classic hobby jogger problems, this would have so many miles on it, and I'm glad it still feels as good as it's ever felt. And this will probably be one of the 7 shoes I get up to 100 miles this year, because this hasn't done me wrong. Just a banger. Consistent, feels good to run in. It doesn't make sense, because I ran in the Glycerin Max, and the Glycerin Max never felt as good as this. I ran in the Aeroburst, and the Aeroburst is my Aero GOAT, and this feels better for just, I trust this shoe. I don't know how to describe it other than I trust this shoe with any run that I would use a shoe like this for. I haven't used it for a long run because it's not really a long run shoe. I mean, you could do it. I think I could do it. I think by the end of this 6.5 miles, which was at about 15:19 pace. So the total time, I spent 1 hour and 40 minutes on feet. I think the average person is probably spending about that long during a long run. So you could use the shoe for a long run. Me, however, my long runs are like 2 hours to 2 hours and 30 minutes to sometimes 3 hours. So it's like, if I'm spending 3 hours in a shoe, I'd like something that could be just a little bit more assistive. Something like the Vomero Plus, a banger that's kind of just been sitting on the sidelines. That's on me. It's been a weird couple weeks. I'm blaming the snowstorm, because a lot of these shoes feel so different on the treadmill that they just had to step on the side, because running with them on the treadmill just didn't feel good for me. But this shoe is amazing, and this shoe has 50 miles in it. I was kind of surprised when I checked Strava and saw that this had 50 miles. I think the Nimbus is actually closer to 60, now that I think about it. But this is definitely at around 50 miles. I got this for Christmas, so it's only been like 2 months for this, and I've put almost as much miles as I put on this in a year. But speaking about shoes that I couldn't use on the treadmill, but I would love to use again now that I'm free from the treadmill, my long run tomorrow is going to be in the Boston 13. My first run in this shoe was actually a long run. It kind of got split in half. It was my first time meeting my coach and like members there. So I ran about 4 miles with them, and then it was raining. It was pouring rain. And I drove to my greenway in the rain and finished out 6 miles in this. So it had a crazy first test and then passed with flying colors. The shoe is awesome. I'm a heavy runner, and the shoe has carbon rods. So take that, running Instagram or whoever is saying that heavy people shouldn't run in plates. That's the week. This is gonna take so long to edit. But we'll get this done. And yeah, if you guys have any questions down below, any topics you want me to go in depth on, anything, let me know. If you guys need anything, you need me to pray for you, you need help, you need somebody to talk to, hit me up. It's probably the only time that I'll be able to do this. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna keep making these once I do my half marathon, but if I have things to talk about running related, sure, I'll drop a video. Really excited for my long run tomorrow. Glad to bring this shoe back into the rotation. Hopefully after the long run, I'll remember why I love it so much and take it out for an easy run or something. You can actually do workouts in this, but I've gone to Carbon County and they're not extraditing me, man. That's my homeland these days. A little sneak peek, but next week I have a 6 miles at my half marathon raced pace long run, and that's going to be brutal. It's gonna be tough. But the week afterward is gonna be a deload week, and because of that, I'm thinking about hitting the trails because I have a little something that I have been wanting to run in for so long. And I do have a trail that I could go to. Oh, bada bang, dude. Cloud Ultra Pro. I can't wait. I can't wait. That's my reward. My reward for doing this training block so meticulously. I think I had a down week that I missed because the down week was in the middle of the snowstorm and I wanted to still get miles. So I kind of blew my down week. But this down week, I'm gonna enjoy my down week. I'm gonna hit the trails. I think I have a 6.5 mile long run, and I tried these out just in the house, and these are incredible. I believe all the hype. These might be On's best shoe. You can just tell from even like jogging around in them how good they're gonna be. I think the jog test is valid. Jog test worked on the RX 50. Jog test definitely passed on these. But yeah, let me know. Are you into trail running? Would you hit the trails? What would you rather run in? A more traditional race shoe that you can trust, that you know, but that's a good point. There's no downsides to running in a shoe like this. It's a good shoe. Or would you gamble? Would you do a little roll of the dice on the fastest shoe you've ever ran in, but it might cause a blister at mile 10? Would you risk it? Would you risk it? I'm thinking about risking it, but I have more runs to do in this, so maybe that problem can be fixed and we can decide. But yeah, let me know what you think. If there's anything you guys want me to talk about, I think this is, it's a fantastic opportunity for us to have these conversations. And at this rate, I'm only going to be a heavy runner for maybe another year, maybe 2. And then I'll reach the 180 to 180 goal. Or will I? Who knows what 180 to 180 means, man? Who knows? That could be 180 to 180 minute marathon. Oh, but he's never ran a marathon. Who knows? Who knows what 180 to 180 means? Like, he could be eating 180,000 calories on a long run. He could be running a 180 minute mile. The first man to ever run a 180 minute mile. Sorry, I took my medicine before this. That's why it's been a little downcast, because my medicine makes me a little drowsy. That's probably why I was so energetic. Even editing last week's video, I was like, man, this guy's got a lot to say. I don't think I'm gonna record after my long run, so it's been a good week. Thank you so much for coming along. You guys are the best, welcome to the journey. 7 weeks left. I'll see you guys next week. Stay safe. Believe in the Lord. I always say that, but it's like, for some people it might be how. I wish I could tell you the how of being open to him, but just understanding what Jesus has done for you is a good first step. Sorry, I probably cut that out. Kind of went on a rant about just how much nothing can matter more. The shoes don't matter, the race doesn't matter, this channel doesn't matter more than building a connection with the Lord. Check out Jesus' prayer to the Lord in John, where he says, eternal life is this, that they know you and the one that you have sent. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay active.